Hi, this is Calico Kate, and welcome to my sewing space, craft space, paint space, creative space, Florida style. This, as you can see, is wrapping paper, all that kind of stuff. That's an antique little wooden bucket that they're in. Corks, antique pitcher, don't have anything in it. Up here is where I keep knit fabrics. I don't do much knit. Then those are containers of napkins, tissue paper, seasonal paper. This is all cards and stuff that needs to have something done with it. The top is ephemera. The second one's empty. I need to do something with that. And then I have a fall. That first shelf is just books. The second one's paper and books. This is correspondence cards, that kind of stuff that I need something done with. Up there, that's wrapped rope to make a basket. Those are just kind of knick-knackies. In the picture there, those are my grandmother's knitting needles. The hat pins is a collection that I have. Down here are things I use here for my mats for the Alzheimer patients and past eclipse. I'm collecting to make a blue journal. And then that's just some mismatched books and things like that I still have down here. That is Velcro. I love using fabric baskets. That's Velcro, that kind of stuff, glue sticks. I have a ham there for ironing, cake stuff there. Down here is that denim fabric I want to do something with, some star fabric for DAR things. Then down here's just specialty fabric. I've got space to continue. I may put some of this down there to keep it clean. Down here is what I use when I make my bags. All of that would have come from a thrift store. But I use duck cloth, cotton, whatever that is, to make those. Down here is my cut up quilts. So if I send you a Happy Mail, it's probably got some of that in it. Here's ribbon, which could go down that other spot. But there's ribbon for wreaths, some cotton. That's what I use for little dresses or aprons or whatever I make. This fabric here's what I use to make my bowl koozies. It's already cut. Then I've got flannel for baby blankets and burp cloths, fat quarters, and then just these are all panels I want to get put together, miscellaneous kind of fabrics. In the back are specialty fabric, maybe holiday. I think I got Dr. Seuss, some Christmas, Halloween, just a little that I still keep here. There's my spray starch and stuff like that. In these baskets are where I keep like my upholstery mats for my Alzheimer patients. It's where I have unfinished projects. And this one, that's my mats. This is all of my bias tape, that kind of stuff. Here are all the towels. I do this blue is what I use to make my little tag blanket toys. And those are cereal inserts, the plastic of those. So that's what all that is just that kind of stuff. Down here is stuff I need to sew. This is a Happy Mail I'm getting ready to send. But in here I keep my zippers, snaps, heat bond tape, stuff like that. And then over here is just some twine to put my journals together. This little cabinet was my grandpa's first gift to my grandmother. It was a smoker cabinet, and it had an ashtray. And I took the ashtray out and put it in the china cabinet and made it into a little pin cushion. And then inside this is where I keep the bobbins for this sewing machine. Then back there are my squares and rulers for sewing. This is my 1983 sewing machine. I keep it inside the cabinet, but I brought it out because I want to clean it, some of that kind of stuff. My thread, I keep my measuring tapes up there on a wooden spool. This is my mom's, I think, a sampler little quilt thing she made. Up here are all my notions for my sewing machine. More, bobbins, pins, that kind of stuff. Down there are either journals that are finished or journals I'm in the process of working on. And down there at the bottom are snippet rolls, some of those kind of projects. Down there's just fabric that's bigger than a fat quarter, but not a full yard. That's what that all is. Now we're getting into the craft section. So back here I have my different papers for my journals that I make. Here's all vintage paper. I don't know why that's back there, but evidently it's got something I thought I needed. And there's just wrapping paper in case I need that. Stamps. This was given to me by a former teacher. They bought it for her daughter's wedding and didn't use it. This is my notebook of ideas. Snippet roll up there. And then in here are my map fabrics, maps. Seems like every time there's a prompt, I've got it. This is just full of envelopes. And then I've got my music roll there. I need to take one up north. There's some more stamps. And that's all the wooden stamps that I have out. The rest I have in a drawer. And there's my paint. These are to make a card. This is for my prompts for my index cards. These are, if I don't know what I want to work on, grab one of those. There are cards already made. This little section here is my slow stitching section. I also have some by my chair. But this is my wool felted wool. This is stuff I'm going to take the stitch camp. And that's stuff that I think I might need for it. And then down here, that is all stuff I can use, like, I'll show you. Appliques and all that kind of stuff. Oh, no, that's not. That is salvage, sewn salvage, and this kind of paper that's been sewn. This is my thread in here. I have more thread out there. Here are mini journals that I've made. Snippets of lace. Paper I glue on. It's just extra paper. These are snippets of fabric, small pieces of fabric I can use for slow stitching or journals. I love me some cheesecloth. Up here, this is a basket of Happy Mail things that are already made, can go out. My index card. This is my beading section. These have like my yo-yos, fabric, ruffles, all that kind of stuff. Here's my collaging stuff. This has little nips and stuff of paper. This is just little riblets of paper and envelopes, antique envelopes and stuff that I can use. These are just stuff I can put on things, you know, crap that we all have. Pardon the expression. My sister made my bag. This is stuff that's made. I can go out. And then this is like bows and that kind of stuff. If you're like me, you know, you got all this kind of stuff. And I'm just, because I'm nosy. Those are words and letters. A lot of this stuff, butterflies. Oh, and then a miscellaneous that I didn't know where to put stuff. This is, yeah, those kind of stamps. And then these are smaller stamps that I can just grab if I need something. Here's some that are still stuck to something. And then those are the ones I use all the time. Then I have this little dish of just miscellaneous stuff. You want it handy, but what do you do with it? Here's a little bowl with 2 cards that need to go up here. I was going to do something with them and never got to it. These need to be put away. This is like these little flower things. Miscellaneous again, I think. Tea paper, clusters. I think more, those were words, but just all kinds of stuff that we use for our journals. You know, that's what this is. Buttons that are handy, as well as some stamps that are handy, tea paper. Then over here I have more beading, and then I just have some stuff that I use as bling here. There's like my stickles and stuff like that, my scissors. And then I cleaned this out today. This is just odds and ends. These are old keys, charms, and that kind of stuff. Over here are my pens, my pencils, my glue, and in the back are just some stamps that I use all the time. Then here is vintage paper, more that I can make ephemera with. There's just matching paper, like, you know, the colored paper, that kind of stuff that needs to go this way or it will bug me to death. Okay, down here's my paints. Yeah, I don't have lots of paints. The first one is my button box. And then down there are my puzzle pieces, matchbooks, and this one is full of antique matchbooks, brown paper, craft paper. This is just paper that, junk mail paper. And then down here, I have a blue tub. That's Emerson and Jackson's. When they come, they get in that. They can't hurt anything in there. And here's some more canvases, my Vagabond. There are my die cuts, and I finally have built up. And then in this is paper, fabric, and stuff that I distressed inked using doilies and that kind of stuff as my stencil. There's felt. And this is like gesso, Mod Podge, that kind of stuff. You know, when you're painting, that you might want. In this box are like my Tim Holtz die cuts, small cut paper, Christmas beads, all that kind of stuff. That's what's in there. And that's all sacks and cardboard. And I try not to keep too much of all that. Here's some laces I just keep handy. Trims. You can tell I keep it so neat. My stamps. I have stamps, mailing stamps everywhere. Somebody was a stamp collector. Here's some extra notebooks and stuff. And then down here are some things already embroidered that are vintage. Then here, my new embossing powder, wire and stuff for jewelry. I don't do much of that. And then here is like wooden letter stamps, colored stamps. There's my journal for Janet Young's prompt. I've got like 4 things left to do. Hole punchers. And this is Canadian Artisan. I'm doing her once a month slow stitching projects. This is just brushes, little scissors, lint roller. Here are journals that, you know, I work in off and on, my heat tool, all that kind of stuff. My paint brushes. Then over here is where I have appliques, napkins. This is colored lace, twines. This in here is all white lace. And then this is just more miscellaneous fabric. This is different fabrics of different linens, stuff like that I would use for book covers or slow stitching. Coffee dyed lace, more muslin, that type thing. And coffee dyed Chanel, miscellaneous stuff. I don't know why this felt's in there. I'll throw it on my table so I could put it with my felt. There's magazines and newspapers. Here's where I keep my patterns. This is where I keep extra glues, that kind of stuff. Then this corner is my husband's. We don't go there. This is where I hang my apron. That is my husband's grandfather's baby dress. His mom would go to town with him in one white dress, and because of the dust and stuff, when she got to town, she'd clean him up, and then she'd put him in that baby dress. I've got the hat, and then there is one of my bags that I make. Okay, this is a closet that's a mess. There's my sewing machine with the just washed cover. This is where I keep more lace, my wool, a quilt that I made that'll never get used, some fleece, lots of Chanel bedcloths. These are little scraps of fabric for stuffing. This bag I made was just a shirt, sewed the hem to it, and it's got stuffing in it. In those drawers behind the vacuum are a quilt that I'm going to make Andy out of t-shirts, specialty fabrics, as well as down here is where I keep like ribbon, that real slinky material you make flowers from, terry cloth, all that kind of stuff. And it's also our coat closet, but as you can see, I've kind of taken it over. And that pretty much takes care of my craft room. This here on the edge is yarn I use for slow stitching. I've got paint brushes. I've got another snippet roll. I have snippet rolls absolutely everywhere. So when you walk in, this corner here is where I sit and craft paint, color, make cards, any of that kind of stuff I keep in this area. And then over here is where I keep my sewing. Most of my sewing is up north. My good machine, all of that is all up north. So I don't keep too much down here. But I keep plenty. So this is Calico Kate. This is the tour of the room. While it's still fairly tidy, needs a good vacuuming and dusting, but oh well. Have a wonderful day. And remember, you, my friend, have a purpose. Bye for now.